A lot of people think that if they meditate, then everything in their life's going to transform and be okay. If I can just learn how to meditate, have a deep meditation, connect to that cosmic intelligence, then my life's going to be transformed. I'm going to be in some kind of vortex, and the law of attraction is going to bring abundance to me, and everything's going to be fixed. So, meditation, is it the biggest fix? Well, I want you to meditate, but I don't want you to meditate to fix your life, because life just happens, and things that the mind thinks is unhelpful or unwanted can actually be very good for our evolution once we zoom out of the storyline. And so we can't really connect the dots about why that happened, even though in the moment we wished it hadn't happened, until way later on, because our life happens through the rear view mirror. We only really know and connect the dots much later. We often get a huge amount of realization and awareness, but at the time we don't even know we've got it. It's only later on we realize. And so there's this like lag. And so meditation, from the minute we even decide that we're going to go inward, there is some sleeping intelligence that's woken up, and things start happening. And it won't necessarily be predictable. You know, sometimes people learn to meditate and their marriage falls apart, and somebody else learns to meditate and were going to leave their marriage, but then they stay. And so in both situations, that was for the best. So there is no one way. There is no, this is going to happen to you if you meditate. You know, if you meditate, it's going to save your marriage. Or if you meditate, you're going to stop sneezing. I meditate a lot and I still sneeze. So there is that fallacy that meditation just fixes everything. And it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. It makes you understand paradoxes more if you start and then you don't stop and you continue. You start to have an appreciation for the paradoxes in life. So, does meditation fix everything? It does, and it doesn't. That's the paradox. And that's how exciting it is that you get to dive into unknown territory with meditation. And not everybody needs to meditate. There is this cosmic intelligence running through all of us, and if it's your time and the universe wants you to speed up, whether you meditate or not, you're going to speed up. It's unfathomable like that. When I first started to meditate, I had extremely blissful states, experiences of what people would call higher states of consciousness. I kept a journal, and it was just insane what I was writing in the journal and what was happening to me. But also a lot of crazy, horrible things from a third person perspective happened also, and my life blew up. But I think that now that it needed to blow up, because things that are not life supporting often get torn away, and that can be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's for the best in the long run. But in the moment it sucks. So meditation can temporarily make your life suck, and it can thrust you into bliss, and it can do everything. And I'll repeat what I said in another video, is that it on the one hand, can allow you to experience profound states of bliss and being and stillness, and on the other hand, can shake up your subconscious, and all of this stress comes out, and triggers and things that you didn't know exist can come out, and you get to deal with them. So anything that's unresolved can be thrown in your face, and that's good. And so something good is always happening. That's really important to know. Something good is always happening. Something good's always happening. Something good is always happening. Even if you're de-stressing, even if your marriage is falling apart, even if you're having nightmares, even if you've lost your job, something's good is happening. Things are getting reorganized, and meditation's really good at speeding up reorganization. So strap in tight, because I don't know what's going to happen to you. But in today's age, things have sped up, and we are already evolving at a rapid speed, regardless of whether we do an official meditation practice. Having said that, if you do learn to transcend, that means enter into a fourth state of consciousness, different from waking, dreaming, and sleeping. It's called Turiya, Samadhi, transcendence, whatever you want to call it, where the brainwaves are very different. And you have a direct experience of knowing that you're not your body, and you reside regularly in that space in intervals of, maybe I do 20 minutes twice a day, and then you integrate that experience and the stillness that you've absorbed. Your perception of reality is going to shift in subtle and profound ways if you just keep doing it. And that's inevitable, and it's just almost, if you do this, then this is going to happen. So it's mechanical. It's a mechanical process. If the mind and the body enters that fourth state regularly, and it just keeps going, these things are going to happen. The awareness is going to shift. It's going to expand. And the physiology is going to adapt, to absorb, to throw off more stress, but also to be able to cope with more stress too. And so when you first start to meditate, you're not so able to move through stressful environments, and it seems heavy, and you remember the stress of that environment, and you hold on to the stress. But as you meditate, you're able to dissolve it much faster, and it doesn't stick to you, and you kind of forget about it. But also simultaneously, if there's any residue, then that needs to be processed. But it isn't just going to fix everything, because if there is some patterning in your being and some childhood stuff or something that hasn't been resolved, it might be even exacerbated. So that's important to know. And it's not like you just need to meditate and do nothing else. No, you might need to have a therapist and meditate and go to the gym and eat healthy. And when you meditate, you might notice, oh, I need to get a therapist, and I need to go to the gym, and I need to do these things. Whereas before meditation, you would have not noticed that you needed to do that. And so it will enable you to know what you need to do. But if you have this belief that I'm just going to meditate and the meditation's going to fix everything because you've been sold that idea, well, that's not true. You still need to do. You need to act. You need to get help. Not just one thing is going to fix everything else. You're multidimensional. Maybe you want to create art. Maybe you need to to connect with really empathetic friends. Maybe you need to get out more and meditate. Just meditating is not going to do the trick. And so if you meditate and you enter that transcendental space and you really listen to what your body is telling you to do and not just what people are telling you to do, then you might sense the next steps, and the next steps are always going to be different. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. One person might meditate and realize, I need to leave this marriage, or I actually need to speak to somebody. I need a therapist because these things are happening that I can't make sense of, that are coming up, and I need somebody non-judgmental to hold that space. Or, wow, I need to really go and speak to so-and-so because I haven't spoken to them in so long, and reconnect with that relationship because I left out of anger and insecurity and didn't need to. Or, wow, I need to start that art business. It's going to be different for every single person. And that's what's so wonderful, is one person can't say, oh, these are the steps that you need to follow. This is what I did and you need to do it. Everybody's so unique. Everybody's on their individual journey, and everybody's going to get different downloads at different times. And so that's really, really exciting.